Self-doubt often creeps in at the most inopportune moments, crushing our motivation and preventing us from reaching our goals. In this video, we're going to talk about 4 ways that we can crush self-doubt. So the problem with self-doubt is it is a feeling. It is an emotion. We know intellectually that we shouldn't doubt ourselves, that we should do these things, that it will be better for us, but that emotion is what paralyzes us. Emotions are far stronger in influencing our motivation than any intellectual idea can be. So these 4 things are designed to change your emotions, or at least marshal our cognitive resources to override those negative feelings. So the first thing that we can do to help crush self-doubt is to just do it anyway. Just go ahead and do it. Just get started on it. The problem is oftentimes when we are doubting ourselves, when we're not sure that we can do something, it's because the task seems overwhelming. So the best thing to do is break it down into smaller pieces and just get started on it. Once you get started on it, that momentum can carry you through. So for me personally, I have always been, subconsciously at least, terrified of writing papers. I feel very on display if someone's reading some of my work, and so I would often be paralyzed and not even be able to start a paper. So I started doing something where I would write a topic sentence that made no sense whatsoever. So I was always looking for the perfect the perfect intro to get me started on the paper. So what I started doing was just saying, "Hi, my name's Tim. In this paper, I'm going to describe this, 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 and this, and this, and prove this." And then I would write the next sentence as quickly as I could without thinking about it. And when I look back, I could just delete that first sentence, and it actually ended up being a decent topic. My second sentence ended up being a decent topic sentence that I could use to keep going through the paper. Also, in these videos, I always want a killer intro. I want to figure out how to set up my video in the best possible way. But I noticed a lot of the best YouTube videos, a lot of the ones that I like the best, just get right to their content. And so if you can do that too, if you can just start on something, just get the ball rolling, it will crush that self-doubt when you gain that momentum. The second way that we can crush self-doubt is a long-term strategy of developing habits. When we have habits, we tend not to doubt ourselves because we know we can do those things. So if we can have positive habits, self-doubt never even creeps in. It's a preventative strategy that inoculates us against self-doubt. So if we have a habit of working out, we're not going to doubt whether or not we can do it. We're just going to go ahead and do it without thinking about it. So the things that we have to think about hard in order to get started, those are the things that are going to create more self-doubt. So if you can create habits around your goals, you won't have to think about how you're doing them or evaluate yourself as much, and you'll be much more likely to do them. The third way that we can crush self-doubt is to get out of our current state. When we're in a specific state, when we're in a specific environment, when we're using our physical bodies in a specific way, that creates emotions. And we know emotions lead to motion. So if we're paralyzed and we're not getting what we want to get done and self-doubt is creeping in, we need to change our physical state. The best thing to do is to go out on a run, go on a walk, go work out. That is the ideal because you will feel very energized afterwards. You will have a much less doubting feeling, and it will boost your mind and you'll be much more productive. Now, that's not always realistic. Of course, if you're in an office and you're expected to work, you can't just go on a half-hour run. But even just standing up, walking to the bathroom, walking to get a drink, walking to get coffee, anything to change that physical state just a little bit will be helpful. The other thing you can do, if you can't even leave your desk, if you have to sit there, change something about your environment. Start listening to different music. Start listening to some inspiring talk. Anything that gets you out of your current physical state, your physical environment, that can change it in as big of a way as possible. So even if you just have that small, tiny change, that will help create something, some different type of emotion so that you can overcome that self-doubting emotion. And the last way, this 4th way, is my favorite way to crush self-doubt. And it is to get self-righteously pissed about not achieving your goals. Now, this takes a lot of very careful mindfulness because we don't want to reject ourselves, we don't want to reject our feelings, and we don't want to blame other people. If somebody else or some situation is creating self-doubt, we don't want to blame it on that because that takes away our control. But what I say is, I say to myself, no, fuck that. I'm going to do it anyway. And what I'm getting angry at is the idea that I'm going to let the situation or my own self-doubt or my own lack of energy get in the way of my goals. So I'm not rejecting myself. I'm fully accepting that I'm feeling this way. I'm not blaming other people. I'm not saying, oh, that person's preventing me from doing that. I'm saying, no, I'm not mad at them, but fuck the idea that I'm going to let that situation prevent me from getting what I want. And that will increase mindfulness. It's using anger, which if you know anything about me or this channel, I almost never actually encourage people to use anger in any way. But in this case, I really like it because it energizes me. It mobilizes me against that self-doubt. Anger probably motivates people more than anything else, usually in a negative way. But because self-doubt is so paralyzing and it so freezes us from being able to do anything, anger can kind of be a useful tool because it's the quickest way to activate those emotional states. It's the quickest way to snap us out of that freezing feeling and get us moving, and then we can find more positive motivation after that. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you next time.